Okay, let me do my best Mons impression. Okay. Whew. Hello and welcome to CED. Hello and welcome to cEDH TV gameplay. I am Dude. I've taken over the channel today. With me, we have, of course, Pontus. We have Mons. We have our friend Rhetoric here. Yeah, go check out my Discord server for some cool cEDH bling at discord.gg/dootloot, and the link will be in the description below.
All right, so I experimented with a deck for a few games, and now I'm just going to come back to something I know very well and tends to do well on this channel. It is Thrasios and Tymna Chain Stasis. It was one experimental list on the cEDH database a long time ago, but I've just continued to kind of refine it every few weeks. And yeah, you've got a lot of different ways you can sort of combo out and generate infinite mana, but one of the main things is swift reconfig and devoted druid into something like Walking Ballista.
So I'm trying to bring back an old favorite deck of mine, Thrash Farm. So I used to play Thrasios Akiri with a cool card called Paradox Engine that is currently banned. But it's banned for casual reasons. It was never really banned for competitive reasons. If you actually take a look at the power level of the format right now, Paradox Engine is not that overpowered. What could be a little bit overpowered on the other hand is Channel. A cool trick here is that you cast Channel and now you can pay 4 life to make a Thrasios activation, thereby the name Thrash Farm. And in all honesty, I have actually playtested this before. It feels kind of fine, and here's the cool important part too. I've asked my friends with a gun and a knife, and they said yes, I'm allowed to play this versus the other 3.
Today, I'm bringing back Splinter and Leonardo. The concept of this deck is a pet project I've been working on, where you have a commander that's as cheap as possible, that gets untapped by Valifant Color, and then you pretty much go all in on Necro with all the good 5-color stuff that can support Necro. It's just like 5-color soup, but with some spice.
So today I am back again on Rogsi. Really pushing the mold with this one. Have a totally unique 98 card list. No one's ever seen this. Grixis Turbo, tried to resolve Necro, hopefully win before Pontus again. I'm gonna ship this. We can have a turn 2 Necrodom, but I don't like the hand enough. So I'm going to see our second sub. Okay. This is interesting. So we could turn 1 Imp Seal, probably go for a fish. Or if we get a mana source, we can go for a turn 2 Ristic. It's not explosive enough, but I will say with this pod, I think it might be important to respect that, Rhetoric's going to have a lot of interaction. I've seen that deck before, so maybe a slower start is a little more safe. I have a Deflecting Swat for some early interaction. I think I'm going to keep this, actually.
First 7, this is a Rishik study away from being a snap keep, but as we don't have that, we don't keep it. Pretty simple. Our second 7 is interesting because it's very close to being very good, but as it is now, it just does nothing. We have a bunch of mana, and we have a bunch of different ways to set up our mana as well, which is actually pretty interesting. We can pass to turn 2 having either just a bird and turn 2 casting a bunch of stuff, or we could possibly go turn 1 Dark Writ into Sol Ring, Petal, Commander, Cryptolith, right? The problem is with all of these, we just have nothing to spend our mana on. If we top deck anything, it's really good. But on the second 7, I don't feel perfectly comfortable just betting on top decking like gas. We have a lot of possible gas here with like any tutor being live and stuff, but still on the second 7, that's a bit too much gambling for me. So let's go to a 6. Our 6 is, if not there, pretty close. We have a seat 2 gemstone, which is always nice. It's less nice when you're below 7 cards in hand, but that is what it is. Ragavan is fine. Wishclaw is like fine. We have a Gamble, and Gamble is good because we do have a turn 1 fish, and I believe this will be a very good fish pod. The problem being the fact that we are on a 6 with the gemstone, which means it's a 1 in 3 to discard the Gamble card. I think we still keep that just because fish is going to be that good in this pod. Mons is on a Stormy deck. Rogsi is Rogsi. Rhetoric isn't really on the Stormy deck, but I still think this will be good enough. Bottom, Voice of Victory, because we don't want to get rid of it. And then we keep this hand. Exiling a land and hoping to draw something that's worth discarding? Yeah, let's see. I think it's good.
This opening hand is actually pretty good. So we have a steel enchantment that we can actually cast on turn 1 or turn 2. It's probably going to come into play when we have like a heuristic study that we're going to steal. I don't think I want to steal a Mystic Remora with it, but depending on it, we might. We have intuition to find Undual Breach package, but the most important part here is we have mana and Divergent Transformation. So we are going to be able to put both commanders into play quite early. Like this is a turn 1 Thrasios or Akiri, turn 2 Akiri, and then turn 3 win attempt with Divergent into Etali and Displacer Kitten. We're 100% keeping this because the hand is just giving us a lot of options, both with fast mana into combo and with commanders in play, or just if someone do put a heuristic study into play, I think we really want to use the Steel Enchantment to take that. So I'm very happy about this hand, and if everything works out, this is gonna be a great game. The one thing we are lacking is counterspells, but what is there to worry about?
Yeah, this first 7's all right. I mean, I'm 4th. I'm looking at what else I've got to put up with right now. I don't have really any way to cast my commanders. Like, I might be willing to have kept it if I had another land or some way to generate Thrasios quickly, because I have Fierce Guardianship and Silence User works pretty well in this case. But I have 2 green sources and no lands, so it's to use them with. So we're going to go ahead and pitch. Okay, so there's once again some clunkiness. I think for potentially faster decks, it could be interesting to keep Mindbreak Trap, and technically we can play End No Land turn 1, Elvish Spirit Guide into Noble Hierarch or Finhorn Elves. But I don't know, this Orcish Bowmaster's kind of sitting here. I'm curious what's on the top of the library. So I'm going to go ahead and go to 6 to try to do something. I like all the cards, but I need to have the actual mana, which we've been lacking in these 2 hands. This hand is better. I think it's serviceable because we have at least 1 land, Deathrite Shaman. We have options where we can kind of pivot with at least 3 cards, and then Eldritch Evolution is something we could use to potentially get something like Devoted Druid, or if we need to do something more reactive, we can. My guess is that by the time it gets to me, I mean, there's always a gamble, you know, with fish. Really, there's no way to play around it. If somebody has it, they have it. But that other people, because we have everybody playing blue, likely their first spells may be misstep before mine. So we can only hope that would be the case. Okay, let's get started.
As a pregame, I'll put in the Gemstone Caverns, exiling a Bloodstained Mire.
All right, I will take it away and drop a turn. Play a Verdant Catacombs. I'll pay 2 life and look at Pontus's hand. I'll draw a card. I will play Rog, sack Verdant Catacombs, Badlands, play Imperial Seal. Seal is good. It's this card on top of my deck. Pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn will be Command Tower. I'll tap Gemstone for a gamble. Gamble resolves. Put this card in my hand. I will shuffle them because that matters for sure. I'll discard a card randomly, discarding a Witchclaw Talisman. Then I'll tap Command Tower for a Mystic Remora. Fierce.
Yes, sir.
Aw, that's so rude. It's counter. And then I pass.
Then I draw a card. I'm gonna play a Misty Rainforest, followed up by a Mox Diamond, pitching this land here. Don't need to pay for any fish, thank you. Gonna sacrifice this, finding a Tundra. I'm going to cast Akiri, Line Slinger, so she can attack next turn. Also throwing in a Lotus Petal. And then I pass the turn.
Take my turn. Draw a card. Command Tower. I want to go fishing. Fish resolves. No other effects. Go ahead.
Play Aurora, cast a fish,
Why are you really just like putting salt in my wounds, dude?
and then Rhetoric you can draw. And then I will play a Ragavan. So I'm stealing all of Pontus's ideas. I'll pass turn.
I made a point last game we played with these decks that my deck is just like worse Rogsi, and like I feel like very validated right now. Well, let's go to my turn. I will play my own Ragavan, which was my plan initially, okay? I was first with this. Then I'll also cast the Sol Ring, not paying for any fishes.
You're first with
And then
Sol
pass.
Ring though.
I am. Thank you.
My turn. Draw a card. Oh, look at that. So, do we feed fish for nothing in this case? I don't think we do because we don't need it. Now we're not casting that thing. We are, however, going to put a Stomping Ground into play tapped. No, untapped, taking to life. Then we're gonna cast Thrasios Triton Hero. And here I wanna go to combat with Akiri, smacking for 2 at Doot.
Yep, you got it.
Preventing that Necro and Adnos from getting 2 stonks. Pass turn.
Untap upkeep. I'll pay for fish. Draw a card. Land for turn is an underground sea that doesn't want to go onto the battlefield. Okay, there we go. And I will cast a Deathrite Shaman. And then I will pass.
Untap, and I will pay for fish. Draw for turn. I will swing Ragavan over at Pontus. How many cards in hand? Well, I'll swing it your way.
No blocks. You will exile a Mana Vault.
I would like that. I will pay 1 and cast your Mana Vaults.
Not just stealing my Ds, also stealing my cards. Okay, I see how it is.
I will play a Mopal that's now online. I think with that, I just pass.
Go to my turn. Go to combat and hit you back, dudes.
Yeah, you got it, bro. It's a pact.
A pact. Make a treasure.
Pontus, you gave him a Mana Vault and he gave you a pact.
A land for turn be a Flood Strand. That'll crack. Finding a Underground Sea. And then tap 3 black for Necro Dominance. Thanks for the pact backup. Not paying for fishes.
I am passing, but pacting this is forcing you to use your pact is actually kind of good, but I'm passing still.
Well, to be fair, I have no cards in hand, so I don't think I'm going to be that hurt by having to pay for pacts.
You got it.
Necro Dominance resolves. Then I was going to say just cast my commander here, but I'm not entirely sure. I do think Dude needs to be respected. He said he kept a slow hand, and so far that's been true. But it has a bunch of mana next turn. The question becomes, what is most likely for me to provide me with interaction? Is it casting commander or is it just keeping mana up? I don't have that many 1-cost interaction spells, actually. I think it's like, because I don't run Swan Song, so I think it's like Fluster. I actually think it's Fluster or Fierce. And in that scenario, I very much prefer to have my commander. Okay, I realized I forgot about Silence and Consult. So there are more spells on 1 mana, but I think combining the fact that my commander might actually help me win, and those cards not being the best thing to be doing, and also losing the mana kind of feels bad. I think I'm just going to take a gamble and cast my commander here, because I think that is a higher chance of me converting next turn, which I should be doing anyways, but yeah, let's just cast commander. I'll actually cast my commander, and then trying to go to my end step. Necro Dominance trigger, and I'll pay 10 life. Moving to clean up, discarding Springleaf Drum, Jessica's Will, Esper, Brain Freeze, and Discard Plant. And then my turn is over.
So my turn begins, drawing a card. So I could actually go for it here. I have my both commanders in play, I had the Verdant Transformation, I have the win. However, while Pontus was talking to you guys, we were actually talking together about how we would potentially solve Pontus. And Doot revealed to us that he had a deflecting swat, and then they discussed what they could potentially draw into with their Mystic Remoras. So I actually know that there's a deflecting swat in Doot's hand. And I also know that there's a mental misstep in Rhetoric's hand, as they were trying to communicate what resources they had, because we all three predicted that Pontus would go for it with a Born Upon a Wind here, but he didn't. So I can't win. However, we can deal with Pontus in the most beautiful way. Pontus, we have been here before. Last time it was Commandeer, now it is something... You got to have your Necro Dominance at the very least, but it's my Necro Dominance. You can draw cards with your fishes.
So, did I hit any protection? No, I didn't.
I'm also going to sacrifice my Lotus Petal, tap this to cast a Talisman of Impulse. You can draw cards again. We're also going to cast Jeweled Amulet, and you fishes can draw a card again. Then, we're going to combat with Akiri at Doot, smacking for 3 total.
Sure.
Well, I did name the deck Thrash Farm, and it's living up to the name now. I get the Thrash Farm. So I'm going to pay... I'm far from a Necro deck, so this is literally just a value engine. I'm gonna pay 7 and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. So I'm discarding these 4 cards here and keeping these 5, passing the turn.
We will untap and let fish die. Then we'll draw a card. Land for turn is a Savannah. I'll have you exile your fetch lands, and I'll make a green. Tap Savannah and Underground Sea. Sack Deathrite Shaman to cast an Eldritch Evolution once they make their way to the battlefield. You can draw from fish
Okay, I think I will. I'm gonna Culling the Weak my Ragavan. He doesn't have fish.
I'll pay 2 life to misstep it.
I have a fish trigger.
You can draw from fish.
Sack treasure for a red blast.
No response to red blast.
I'll tap Mana Vault for 3, spend 1 and 1. I'll cast a Tainted Pact.
Yeah, go ahead.
Paradise Mantle. Yeah, there's no creature in my deck that matters. That's not online. Where are you? There we go. Cast an Oz.
I will pay life. I will pitch Born Upon a Wind to attempt to Force Will. You're at us.
Mystic Remora.
You can draw from fish.
Empty Swat. Targeting Force of Will.
All right, well, our game plan will change a little bit, but I don't want you to have that Naz, so I'm going to Fluster Storm.
Fish.
You can draw from fish.
Yeah, fine with me.
Magic Evolution resolves, and we'll go find something for 3 or less. So we'll get Ranger Captain EBS, and then I'll fetch up another. And I will get Esper Sentinel, put it into my hand, and pass the turn. I have to discard, guys, sorry. It'll be this Finhorn Elves. Go ahead.
Good, I'll pay 2 for fish. Gemstone Cavern. Cast a Springleaf Drum. Yeah, unfortunately, I will have to pass there.
Go to my turn. Way less of a plan now without my Necro. I will play a Bayou, South turn. Go to combat. I hit Doot for 2.
Take 2, you get a Blood Crypt.
Blood Crypt does nothing for me, so I'll just float the mana for a Cryptolith Right. Not paying for fish now. And then I pass turn.
In your end step, I'm going to put a red mana into Jeweled Amulet. And then I will go to my turn, untap everything I have, not draw, play land drop Flooded Strand, that we're going to crack immediately, for a Volcanic Island, and then use the mana I got from this to cast a Springleaf Drum, not paying for Mystic Remora. Doot can draw a card. Rhetoric, I'm attacking you with my Akiri, and while we're at it, Doot, I'm swinging at you with Thrasios. Akiri is a 4-punching girl.
Yep, I'll take the damage.
Then we're gonna go to the end step and trigger Necrodominance, and I have 28 life. I'm gonna pay 10 into this, 10 life. Drawing up to 13 cards, there we go, and I have to discard to hand size. Discarding a lot of cards, and then passing the turn, keeping these 5.
Draw a card. Ooh! Just kidding. You're going to put a Windswept Heath into play. Fetch. Tropical Island, Esper Sentinel. That resolves. Tap 1 more for an Imp Seal. Not paying for fish. Imp Seal resolves. Go find something. There's the card in my hand. I will put it on top of my library. And unfortunately, I have to pass.
Sorry, I was checking my exile. I have no fetchables left. So I take 1 to the Mana Vault, and then I will play another Mana Vault. Yeah, I'm going to respond to the Esper, and I'm going to Brain Freeze, targeting. So I'm going to hit, or so I'll have Storm Trigger, and then I'll let Storm Trigger resolve, assuming you guys don't want to respond. I'll have the copy target Rhetoric, and then the original target me. Yeah, I just rather he doesn't have whatever it is.
Cast a Veil of Summer.
Yeah, no fish.
I will draw. The Veil of Summer resolves. I'll draw a card.
Mill Soul Ring, Wood of Foothills, Mox Diamond. That sucks. I think just have to pass.
In your end step, I will tap 3, paying for Esper to cast a Manamorphose to draw a card. Draw a card, and then go to my turn. Start by going to combat, and it's still Doot, the only one who probably doesn't block. So, Doot's 2.
Yeah, you got it, bro. It's a dress down.
I will actually cast that dress down, paying for Esper with my Soul Ring, because this is a cantrip. Dress down resolves, I'll draw a card. Tap 2, cast a Felwar Stone. Tap the Felwar Stone for a Deathrite Shaman, and then pass turn.
In your end step, we are going to activate... don't need to tap that one. There we go. Activate Thrasios. So Dresden disappears, and we're still in Pontus' end step. Dresden disappears before his turn actually ends. So activating Thrasios, putting this one at the bottom, and revealing a Ancient Tomb that comes into play tapped. That's actually kind of great. Then we're gonna go to my turn, untap everything that we have, and not draw a card for turn. Instead, we're playing a Savannah land drop. Pontus, I'm attacking you this time with my Akiri, and Doot, I'm swinging my Thrasios at you.
Yeah, I take 1 damage.
So while we're in combat, I should have done this earlier, I will snap Rhetoric's Ranger Captain, not paying for Esper. And Rhetoric, if you sack it now, Mons hasn't cast any spells this turn, so you would deny him his main phase value.
Okay, I'll sack Ranger Captain then.
Ranger Captain is sacrificed, so snap fizzles. I don't get on-tap lands. Not that that mattered. And then I'll block Akiri with my Data Shaman.
Yeah, I'm silenced, so I want to go to my end step. And let's pay 10 life again. I should probably do more, but let's stay safe for some strange reason. Drawing up to 14 cards. Then we are discarding a lot of cards. There we go. We have a 5, and these goes to exile, and I pass turn.
All right. Land for turn is a City Brass. I will tap 2 mana for a Grand Abolisher.
I have a response to this. I'm going to cast a Divergent Transformation targeting my 2 commanders in response to your Grand Abolisher still on the stack. I'm not paying for Esper Sentinel. You can draw a card.
Let's do Tainted Pact.
I am going to Pact of Negation this. So normally you would allow the Tainted Pact to resolve, but I don't want him to find like a Flusterstorm or a Mindbreak Trap, because those can be tricky to deal with.
I pass.
So I was a combination of Greedy and Sandbag Hard. I will swat your Divergence, not make faster.
I will respond to the Esper Sentinel trigger by tapping like this, Swan Songing the Deflecting Swat. So Swan Song counters the Deflecting Swat. Now you can draw your card with your Esper Sentinel. Divergent Transformation resolves, and both of my commanders will go away, and I will flip into until I find only 2 creatures. So I'm putting into play directly at the same time Etali and Displacer Kitten. So they're both in play. Etali now triggers, and we all exile until we exile something. Now I can't brick because my deck doesn't contain a single creature. All lands will be ignored, and I will only find cards that will trigger Displacer Kitten. So Etali will flicker until my library is gone. With this, I will basically sit and cast all of my opponent's library and figure out a way of winning. One simple pathway here is that Pontus still has a Thrasios Oracle in his deck. Dude exiled his with a Tainted Pact, and I'm just guessing that Rhetoric still has in his hand, but I will get Pontus Thrasios Oracle. The thing here is that Etali keeps flickering, and nothing on the stack actually ever resolves until there's no library left to flicker, which means that my library will eventually be empty. Then everything will resolve, including Thrasios Oracle, and my library empty, I win the game. So a very key part in this game was the Necrodominance theft. Like, I was sitting there and I think I paid like 10, 8, and 10. That's a huge amount of cards. And that enabled me to dig into my... Okay, actually I already had the Divergent in my hands in the start in the beginning, but I dug into more counterspells, which enabled me to protect it in the end. And a key part here is the ability to win in instant speed atop someone else, which allows you to be a little bit more flexible and kind of tempt to see how much interaction disappeared from people. But another big part I think I got away with, I'm not a Necro deck, so I'm not as scary as Pontus is with a Necrodominance. And a key thing when you want to like win on top of someone else is that you kind of want to look like the person that is just behind. Otherwise they interact with you anyway. But in this situation, people were kind of scared of Rhetoric with his Ranger Captain in play. So I was just waiting for the perfect timing window where I could slam the instant speed victory. The key skill, in my opinion, in winning this situation is knowing the perfect timing window. Something you learn if you play a lot of Flash Hulk.
Tough beats game, a lot of interaction, rough, 50 some odd card Tainted Pact. Definitely a lot of like, it just felt like there was never an open window, and the only window that opened, of course, is there at the end with with an Abolisher on the stack, and it kind of forces everyone to go for it. And it leads to the uncomfortable scenario that I think a lot of people find themselves in, where like Rhetoric could do something in theory, but he probably just passes and loses to me. So he's not incentivized to do that, and I'm not incentivized to take my only shot and probably fold to whatever his answer is. So we both just look at each other and go, nah, and then lose to the dinosaur. So, but that's the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's threat assessment, and then deciding, if no one wants to budge in a kind of a lose-lose situation, you might as well just kind of say, good game.
Well, dude, you were the owner of this channel for pretty much an hour. I won, so the channel is mine again. I take it back. Take care, guys. See you next time.